Search fam, Sharde here. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. If you are new, my name is Sharde and I am out here curating and co-creating a cool ass life. Whether this is your first time on my side of the internet or you keep coming back and have not already, please hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that you're made aware every time I post. Y'all, I missed y'all on Tuesday, but some exciting news for me. I had an interview Monday and Tuesday, so I did not have the opportunity to get the vlog out, but also sis is tired. Like I have been tired from getting some projects done and trying to get through the editing of those things. However, it's Black History Month. Happy Black History Month, Black people. And today I wanted to share with you some of my favorite Black photographers that you may or may not have heard of. So if you haven't heard of them, definitely look them up. I'm going to leave links for all of their websites or things to deal with them so you can look at their work, because the work is stunning. I'm only going to give you 5 because you don't deserve to be here all day. I don't want to keep you here all day, so we're going to try to make this quick. What I have is a mix of photographers that are, I guess, more 20th century artists, as well as some that are current artists that I enjoy, and I hope that you'll find somebody new and exciting that you can explore. The first is the GOAT himself, Gordon Parks. Gordon Parks is probably my favorite photographer, just period. I think my other favorite photographer, just period, is Ansel Adams, who did landscape portraiture, and it was just stunning, right? But we're not talking about him right now. We're talking about Gordon Parks. Gordon Parks was born in Fort Scott, Kansas in 1912. He was just a phenomenal portrait photographer. He took photos that sort of described Black life, as well, like the sort of nuances of race relations and discrimination, and all the most famous portraits are the one of the woman in who is a domestic but also standing in front of the United States flag. Also a renowned director. He directed Shaft, so he was directing films in the blaxploitation era, and if you don't know what that is the era of Black films that sort of really leaned into tropes of Blackness, but I mean there's a definite character to them that we can't overlook, even though sometimes it's very problematic. So we're talking about Shaft, we're talking about Dolomite, we're talking about Cleopatra Jones. Like those sorts of movies fall into the blaxploitation category. So Gordon Parks is just, his work is moving, and he is probably one of the best examples to me of sort of journalistic style portraiture. I think his camera of choice was a Nikon. I'll probably put it down here once I look it up. But yes, I could gush about Gordon Parks because he has been one of my longtime inspirations, and he is just an amazing person to work to know and to follow, especially if you're into journalistic style portraiture. Probably next, and I wouldn't say a total contemporary of Gordon Parks, but they sort of overlap a little bit, would be James Van Der Zee. James Van Der Zee was born in the turn of the 20th century, so 1896, and he was born in Massachusetts. He wanted to be a concert violinist, so he was a prolific musician in piano and in violin, and moved to New York to become an elevator porter with his brothers and his father. But in his wanting to become a concert violinist, his other passion was photography, and he is probably one of the most prolific portrait photographers of the Harlem Renaissance and in the early 20th century. So from 1916 up through the early 30s, James Van Der Zee took just portraits of Black people being fantastic and just in dress, and it is beautiful. Some of his more famous subjects were Marcus Garvey, Bill Bojangles Robbins, and poet County Cullen. So if you want to see just like beautiful portraiture of Black people in the early 20th century, James Van Der Zee is one of my favorite. Carrie Mae Williams has a special place in my heart because one of my colleagues from school did her dissertation on Carrie Mae Williams, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely an amazing piece of work. Carrie Mae Williams was born in 1953 in Portland, and she has a BFA from the California Institute of Art. She also has an MFA from the University of California, San Diego. So her work I would describe as depicting Black life, especially issues of domesticity, but also diasporic nuances. One of her most well-known collections would be the Kitchen Table series. It is just a phenomenal set of photos that sort of depict what it looks like for a Black woman to be going through life in the very many facets that she occupies, as well as like the emotions that are attached to this. One of my favorite of her collections is the Sea Island series, where she's photographing settings and sort of landscape in the Sea Islands. And for me personally, just being a Southern person, I just thought it was a beautiful set of work. You can glimpse Carrie Mae Williams if you are familiar with the remake of She's Gotta Have It in season 2. Nola actually gets an artist's grant where she gets to go and do a retreat and connect with other artists and things like that, and Carrie Mae Williams makes an appearance. So if you want to check that out, that is also a thing. The next 3 artists are really contemporary, okay? So by that I mean they're all not that much older than I am. And that is first Dana Scruggs, who is a portrait photographer. She's from the south side of Chicago, and she just does beautiful portraiture. And she has just recently did portraits of Denzel Washington for Time, where they're talking about his remake of Macbeth, and the photos were stunning, and it was just really cool. I follow her on Instagram, so it's very cool to see her process and things like that. So I think she is a just wonderful artist, the way that she captures skin tones and things like that. I'm a fan. Next is a journalistic photographer. Her name is Lindsay Witherspoon. She's out of Atlanta. She does portraiture, but she also does it with sort of this journalistic style where she is actually capturing the nuances of Black life. Lindsay has gotten numerous awards and is a Canon Explorer of Light. And if you're not familiar with what that is, she's an ambassador for the camera brand that she uses, which is Canon. And I was able to take a workshop with her maybe like 3 years ago now at the photo cookout, and she is just a wonderful human being, just really, really kind and very knowledgeable and very passionate about the ways in which she renders the realities of Black living, and especially in and around the South. So I love her work, love her as a person. She's amazing, so definitely check her out. Last but not least is a photographer out of Houston. I mean, come on, why wouldn't I do that? I live in Houston. I've lived in Houston for quite a while now, and her name is Dion Ivory. I adore Dion's work because it is very recognizable, and by that I mean she has a very particular way of coloring her photos that looks like it's hazy neutrals, and it is beautiful. She recently, probably last year, photographed Issa Rae. I've met Dion. Dion is just a very kind individual, but she is also a boss. Like, she is on her business, and I just really appreciate her work, especially because she photographs, in particular, Black women, the Black female form, and how it moves about the world and sort of is captured, and sort of the nuances behind that in a very artistic way. Fantastic. The work is just beautiful. Like, it's stunning the way in which, in a very sort of recognizable and stylistic way, that she captures Black femme form. I hope that you enjoyed this, that I exposed you to a photographer that you had not heard of. If you want to know more photographers that I just am obsessed with, let me know down in the comment section, and I can do a part 2. That's no big deal. I'll leave the links for all of the photographers I mentioned below, so that you have an opportunity to check them out and familiarize yourself with them and their work. As always, friends, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend about the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.